Anybody coming in?
It's not showing up now.
Oh yeah! Y'all know what time it is? 5 o'clock on the dot, here live on the spot. Break on through. Look at this. What do y'all think of that? Do you even know who this is? Everyone's always asking me, Jeff Clayton, where, you're always dressing so snazzy. You're always like up to date with the fashion. We want to dress like you. How can I do it, Jeff Clayton? My answer to you, On the Mark shirts. Look at that. See that right there? That's a Harley race. Harley race design. Usually they go on sale live on Fridays. But the good people at On the Mark have told me that they will make that shirt live and ready to go now. Just because of you people here on Break On Through. I'm going to show it to you one more time. I'm going to show it to you again before we sign off. But look at that. That is something to behold. Harley Race, the king, holding his belt. And when you wear that, people will know that you're the king. So make sure you get one. But I'm going to tell you about it again. Today, I got with me the lovely Mrs. Clayton. Get on here, baby. Show the people. Look at there. There she is. Give you something pretty to look at besides me for a change. But she's going to be fielding your questions. So go ahead and ask questions. And she'll be writing them down. Now, don't ask stupid questions. Don't ask, hey, man, when's there going to be a documentary? God damn, I have said that 15 fucking times. I ain't going to say it again. Can you dig it? Now, I've told y'all. I'm going to tell y'all now. And I'll tell you again. Mr. Alan King wants me to lay some truth on y'all. So I'm going to do it. He's got a way that he wants to sell a collectible Hell Stomper piece of merchandise. And his proceeds are going to go to help the family of his fallen brother, Tom Hughes. The proceeds are going to go to Christy Hughes and their son Sam Whalen. Now I've got the thing right here. Look at that, a Hell Stomper picture disc. I know y'all can dig that. It's backed with a track. Oh shit! Let me get this thing out of here. It comes with a postcard. See, it comes with this postcard. It's got information on it. On the B side is that fantastic Russian band, Zevlanas. Look at there. Picture disc on the other side too. You can't beat that. But there it is. All copies signed by Mr. King. Now listen, I'm going to tell y'all something. I was talking to the King. And he laid something on me. He laid some truth on me. He said, man, I ain't going to be doing Hell Stomper anymore. Now, I don't know if that's just how I felt at the time. Or if that's true. But the point being made is you ain't going to be able to get an Alan King signature every 6 months like you can old JC or anytime you order something from me. I mean, you can. I'm sure Alan King will sign anything you send him. But all the proceeds for this will go to the family of Tom Hughes. Oh, look at that. I'm going to give you See, I wrote it backwards so it looks straight to y'all. deadsovine@gmail.com. Well, the C's fucked up. But y'all know how to do .com. God damn, I can't do everything. So, that's Alan King's PayPal. I've also got it on my page. I will eventually have it on the ANTiSEEN page. You'll be able to see it, but you saw it here. And you can get this. Okay, this is a special edition of Break On Through. I, Jeff Clayton, the unimpeachable president for life, have a special guest today. He's been my tag team partner for as long as he's been alive. He was the first person to ever stand up and walk away from the devastating move known as the gas chamber. So when I saw that he could get up and walk away from it like a real man, it was only natural that he would be my partner in the Gas Chamber Express. He was a drummer for ANTiSEEN on one of our most classic LPs, More Possum. He gave us that little southern swing that you could dance to. He's a man that needs no introduction. Here he is, my partner, my brother, Greg Clayton.
Right.
Y'all better be applauding out there. That's all I gotta say.
All right. Hello, Facebook world.
The Clayton boys together again. And look at him. Look what cup he's drinking out of there, Dina Sods. I know you're happy about that. But, I mean, tell us, so Miss Clayton can tell us, what do you want to hear? Do you want to hear Clayton boy stories? Or do you want to hear Clayton boy ANTiSEEN stories? We got both. We got tons. There's one thing I want to tell you to start. I just want to tell you, I want to, kind of tell you about who we are as people. I went overseas first when we toured for Southern Hostility, and then when Greg joined, we were slated to go over again to tour for More Possum on the longest tour we ever did, the tour that almost broke the band up. No one talks about that whenever they talk about it, but it did. It almost broke this band up, and because we were together too long, and that's a traveling party where you got Jeff Clayton, Joe Young. There's Oil and Water right there. Then you got Greg Clayton and Barbecue Young. There's the match and the fucking fire. Then you got Tom O'Keefe in there. Now I think Todd Goss was there too, wasn't he?
No, not on that trip.
Oh, okay. It was just us five?
He went on the first one.
And, okay.
Yeah. Well, we had Todd Cody.
All right, Todd Cody. But anyway, so Greg's over in Europe for the first time, and he made an amazing discovery. The same discovery that everyone makes when they went to Europe for the first time back then is the toilets with the observation deck on them. We'd never seen nothing like that before. Oh man, we could all be sitting in a hotel lobby or, a hotel room or someone's house that was putting us up. It didn't matter. We'd all be sitting in there, and Greg would be in the bathroom, and all of a sudden he'd run to get his bag. Oh man, oh-ho! He's going to get his camera. He would take pictures of his most prized stools that he left in the observation deck.
Or I would run and get you and go, hey man, come here.
Yeah.
Come here, check this out. You're not going to believe this. And he would be like, what? Come here. And he would be like, damn!
Yeah, he'd call us all in, hey man, y'all got to see this.
It was worth a picture.
So, this is prior to the days when you had a phone to take pictures and then you could look through them and, Now, you had to take the roll of film to the place to get the pictures developed. So, my mom, of course, would want to see, which also happens to be his mom, would say, "Oh, Greg, let me see your pictures from Germany." And so, you know, he'd hand her a stack of pictures, knowing that, you know, there are a good dozen and a half of them are stool samples. And Mom would be looking, you know, at a castle, you know, looking inside of a club. Well, this ain't pretty. Why didn't y'all take some scenery? We didn't see no scenery, Mom. We saw the Audubon 10 hours a day. You know, and then all of a sudden she comes up upon one of Greg's stool art. Well, my goodness, why would you do that? You know? And we'd have to explain that.
So look at it.
Why was
Pretty
she
funny.
asking that question knowing her son? That was very redundant.
So what do y'all want to know? Clayton boy stories or ANTiSEEN stories? You got to tell me something. Because if you don't...
I do have one question from Ryan Tyner.
Yeah.
He wants to know what's been the most memorable and what's been the most physically painful experience while on stage.
That ain't got nothing to do with Clayton boys.
I know, but that's the question I got.
Tell Ryan we'll answer that at the end. Well...
Memorable for me or for you?
It wasn't specific.
I mean, because I can think of a story that actually happened, and while we're talking about shit.
Go ahead and tell them that.
So we did one. We were playing in Holland, and we were just about to wrap up the set. Maybe we had a couple of songs to go, but Jeff turns around and looks at me, and he was like, "I just shit my pants." And I was like, "What?" I mean, this is like, you know, in between 4 clicks and getting ready to go into something, and he was like, "I shit my pants. One more." So that was it. We did one more song and we got off because, you know, that happened. But that was pretty memorable and painful for him.
Yeah, it happens. Sometimes when you think we're up there, you know, rocking and being all crazy and stuff, sometimes stuff happens, man.
People are wanting Clayton boy stories.
All right, let's tell Clayton boy stories. What's some good Clayton boy stories?
Oh, God. Our poor mama.
Mm.
There's a lot.
I have a request.
What?
Tell about the one about how Greg would take off running when your mom and y'all would pull up at the door.
Okay, I don't know if y'all can hear Mrs. Clayton or not, but this is a story I love to tell about my brother. Now, I don't know if y'all know this, but see, in the family, I am considered the quiet one. And he was the hellraiser.
That's right.
He was the one that always got in trouble.
That's
Man,
right.
I never gave Mom any trouble. I was the good kid. If I did something, I came home and told him. Like the time we shot a window out in this dude's house while he was sitting there watching his chair, in a chair watching TV. We shot the plate glass window out. And we figured the cops would be on our tail at some point. And I just walked in the door and said, "Mama, the cops might be here this evening. I don't know." "Why? What'd y'all do?" "We shot a guy's window out." But when you're that honest, they don't believe you. "Oh, yeah, sure you did." You know, that kind of thing. This one here, all right, yeah, but we could have told this early. Let me tell you what used to happen. We grew up in New London, North Carolina. I was born in Panama City, Florida. Greg was born in Baltimore. You see, the old man was in the Air Force, so we moved around a lot. And we were back in the Carolinas, I guess, to stay when before Greg even started school, right?
Yeah,
You didn't actually go to school in Mississippi, did you?
just kindergarten for
Yeah, okay.
just a short period.
So every Saturday, it would be time to go to town, which when you live in New London, that means you're going to Albemarle. So we'd load up in the Volkswagen Beetle, the green one. I think it was a 66, 67. And we would go downtown, man, every time. We'd get out, we'd let Greg out of the back, and man, he'd take off. And my mom would be, Greg, and I'd be the one that had to go chasing him to catch him, you know, and hold him there until, you know, we could all walk together. Well, we were at the greatest department store known to man, Sky City. I have a shirt of it that he made. So this is a big parking lot, you know, like your typical Walmart or Kmart now. And so we let him out, and he takes off. Here we go. And man, now he got such a head start on me. I'm so far behind I can't catch him. I see him go through the door. Boom! Pushes it open. And I'm coming up behind him. Now I'm catching up with him because the door's kind of slowed him up a little bit. And he gets the other door. And he goes tearing through the store, man. And he takes a sharp left. And he's going toward the front counter. And man, there's a ton of people waiting in line. And one of them happens to be his kindergarten teacher. Or first grade teacher. Miss Colson was her name, I remember. Right? And so he goes tearing around the corner. And man, his feet come out from under him. And he's airborne. And he falls flat on his ass. And everybody, man, this ain't like today where everyone would go, oh, my poor child, are you hurt? We must call paramedics.
Or they'd be filming it.
Yeah, or they'd be filming it on their phones. Everybody was going, ah! Even his teacher. And he turned around. And he's just sitting there and he's doing this grin like, and he's looking around. And I held him by his hand, walked him back to where Mom was. Man, he didn't take off the rest of the day. I love that story. It was funny just watching all these adults point at this kid, laughing like hell, especially his teacher. His teacher's not like, oh, is he okay? His teacher's like, ah! All right, what's some more good Clayton boy stories?
Well, did you tell how the gas chamber thing actually came about?
Yeah, I told that.
Yeah, everybody knows that.
Everybody knows the origin of the gas chamber.
Jeff knows how to clean up some vomit.
I learned how to clean up puke. It was training for my job at Joy Book.
No, I never went to the Joy bookstore. Mom would not. Mom didn't know about it. Somebody asked that earlier. But I never made it over there, but I heard a lot of stories.
Yeah, I couldn't tell all the stories on here, man. Some of them stories are raunchy. I know y'all want to hear them, but I ain't telling them on this public forum. I don't want the Zuck to suspend my account. So I might have to say some stuff that's not politically correct. What else we got? We gotta have more than that. I mean, I guess we're gonna have to tell ANTiSEEN stories because that's when we really started, hanging around a lot. Because all the other times when I had my friends over, he was just a little kid. We didn't want him hanging around and stuff, you know. Like, get out of here. That kind of business. But we discovered Kiss at the same time. And, Greg was going to all the TV tapings of Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling because he had a friend named Vince Vince's mom would take them. Was it Vince's mom or somebody else?
No, we went with
okay.
Steve Burris. Vince was jealous.
Oh, okay.
That he didn't get to go to those. But me and Vince did go to a lot of wrestling together, but me and Stevie Burris and his sister used to go every Wednesday night.
And if you look at the WWE network, and you look at the old Mid-Atlantic, like what years?
Probably 78, 79, 80.
Yeah, the late 70s into the early 80s. You can see him in the audience sometime. Matter of fact, one time I was at his house in Raleigh, and he got the network. And what we were our complete intention was only to sit around the house all day watching Mid-Atlantic wrestling. And I think we had to go do a show or something. Like I had to play, and Greg was going to go with me, but we just did that all day. And we found him on one, and we froze the screen and took a picture of Greg in the audience. Kelly wants to know, did you pull for the heels or the faces?
Both.
When it came to Kabuki, you pulled for the heels.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I was there for the first Kabuki match at Mid-Atlantic. That was great. But yeah, I like the heels.
Tell them about what happened when your mama found that jacket in your closet.
Yeah, tell the Ric Flair jacket story.
Yeah, so one night during one of the tapings, Rick was doing a real heated interview, took off his jacket, stepped on it, ripped it in half, and threw it out in the audience, and I caught it. This other lady grabbed half of it, ripped it, but I had half of it, and I had his wallet, his car keys, and I didn't even realize I had it until he started asking for it. He was asking where his jacket went, But yeah, I had him, and one of the Crockett's was like, "Come on, come with me." So I get to walk outside with Rick. I get to walk to his car with him, and it was really pretty awesome.
What did he say to you?
I think he was like, "Thanks a lot." And then he was like, "You want to walk outside with me?" And I was like, "Sure." So we walked out. I was like, "Hey, since I got you out here, will you sign got him to sign the coat?" And there was a scarf in it. Signed that. Gave that to Stevie's sister. But yeah, that was really cool.
All right, now tell what happened. Tell why you don't have that jacket to this very day.
Oh, right. I don't know, were you looking for it? Or was
I don't know.
Looking for
I
it? One of us
were.
came home and had it in a plastic bag in the basement, looked for it, and Mom said, oh yeah, I threw that out. I didn't know what it was. It looked like it was torn and messed up. So that one hit the road.
She couldn't understand why we'd have a suit jacket torn in half and keeping it. And she's like, "Oh, that old jacket that was torn in half, I threw that out."
Why would you want a jacket with
Along with I had an Abdullah.
She had an Abdullah fork that was wrapped in tape and
had that.
was broken. And we're looking for the fork. Where's the Abdullah fork? That old broken fork, I threw it out too. Why do y'all keep this broken stuff?
To be in a museum today.
Yeah. What?
Ryan Adam Simmons, I think he's asking this maybe of Greg, wants to know the best interaction with a wrestler you've ever met.
Well, it would have to be Flair, hands down. I've met him several times, and one time I got to sit down with him for probably about 10 or 15 minutes. It was Tom hooked that up for us, and I had a bunch of old pictures, and we just sat and talked about Charlotte and the old days. And
Are we still on, huh?
I mean, hands down, that was a good one. Had a good one with Gary Hart one time. Sir Oliver Humperdinck. I mean, back in those days, we would talk to him and see him before the taping. And one time I rode in the truck with Rufus R. Jones. He picked me up at the end of the driveway going into the 36 station. So that was pretty cool. I chased Wahoo McDaniel down at the old Charlotte Coliseum. He ran from me. He didn't want to sign anything. He was ready to go. And that was me and Vince. We chased him around the Coliseum. He had on white shoes, white pants, a white belt, and a black shirt. I'll never forget it. You could hear those dress shoes slapping the concrete, man. He just did not want to deal with it.
White gangster shoes.
So that was kind of funny.
But if you're asking me, one of the best interactions I ever had was, of course, with Mick Foley. I mean, back then we knew him as Cactus Jack. On the mark. But yeah, I mean, you know, I introduced myself to him one time, and man, it's been 20, maybe 30 years, man. I guess the first time I actually met him was during one of those Great American Bashes at the Memorial Stadium in Charlotte. And I gave him a package with an ANTiSEEN shirt in it. The old chainsaw shirt. I may have told y'all this before, but I was watching WCW one morning, and he was doing a training with the Barbarian. He was wearing some kind of hoodie type hippie looking thing over it, but I saw the logo at the top, and man, I about lost my shit. He wore it on TV. He wore an ANTiSEEN shirt, TV in Smoky Mountain too, when he was shit, I don't know who he was going against. I guess he was partnering with Brian Lee. You know, maybe y'all remember him. I don't know who they were going against. I guess it was Boo Bradley and Tammy Fitch was the manager. I guess it was Chris Candido and Boo Bradley. But so you got a lot of wrestling questions in there, but we'll have to get to those in a minute.
Yeah, I saw did I get along with Cactus Jack, the new dog? Yes. We're getting along great. I got a little too close to him a little too soon, and that was the first time they have seen him. He headbutted me with his snap.
Headbutted him and showed him all his teeth.
Yeah, it was.
Man, we were kind of shocked. I was like, what the hell?
He is really the sweetest thing.
He's the sweetest dog I've ever seen, man.
Dog, and then all of a sudden he's like,
he didn't like that.
I'm probably going to have a nice black eye, but he's still sweet. I'm not scared of him. I just got a little too close.
Let's see, what the hell else you want to hear about?
I was treating him like my own.
Yeah, he's treating him like his own dog. He didn't like that.
A guy named Johnny Weissman wants to know, have you ever met Jim Cornette?
Yes.
Many times. Actually, I took Jim Cornette I don't know how I acquired it. I may have got it from Mad Brother Ward. It was a reel-to-reel tape from the Mid-Atlantic Studios, and it was of one of their TV shows that they had on Sundays, and it was just audience camera. It wasn't studio, but it was highlights from live shows. And I didn't know what to do with this thing, and I went to the first ever Smoky Mountain wrestling show that was done out of the Smoky Mountains. It was in Philadelphia. I was going to ECW the next night, and I got to meet Cornette at that Smoky Mountain show, and I gave him, you know, I know he's got this vast wrestling collection, so I figured he should have it. And when he knew it, when he saw it and read what it was, he knew exactly what it was, and to this day, when I see him, you know, because he meets so many people, I doubt he remembers who I am. And I said, yeah, I'm the guy that gave you that reel-to-reel, that Mid-Atlantic show in Philadelphia. And he remembers, you know. But see, I have never met Andre the Giant. Someone asked that question just now. I think there's some more questions for Greg, isn't there?
Yeah, they want to know who's Greg's favorite drummer.
Who's your favorite drummer?
ANTiSEEN drummer or just favorite drummer?
Both.
Might be hard for you to pick a favorite. I hope you would say yourself.
Well, I mean, I always liked the recordings that Doug did, and I don't know, I like all the stuff really, but I just think seeing him at an early age and being able to go out on the road with them. I went out on their first tour to New York, up in Boston and stuff, and I got to see them play every night, and help out. And that was just a big influence. Seeing Doug play, he was really good.
Who's your favorite drummer? Period. Who's the biggest influence on you to play drums?
I don't know who my favorite one is right off, but I'd say the influence would probably be Richie Ramone.
Mm-hmm.
He was, I liked his style. I liked the way he played. He played real fast. He played everything fast. And I like the simplicity of Charlie Watts. That was the first drum beat I ever learned, and you taught it to me.
To get off my clown?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I told them the story about when I decided you were going to be our next drummer, when we had that problem with Steve in Wilmington, and I decided we weren't gonna put ourselves through that situation anymore. And I didn't even know you could play drums. I never seen you play drums. I didn't even know you were a drummer. And here you are with your band playing drums.
Well, yeah, just kind of.
Because when I saw your high school band, you were a singer.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched you during sound check, and I walked across the room, and I told them guys, I said, right there's the next ANTiSEEN drummer, right there.
I don't know if I've ever heard that one.
Yep. It was at Jacob's Run. Yep.
Yeah, I think me and Dave played a little bit with Todd Goss that night too.
No, okay. What else we got? Drummers seem to always make great. Hey, Greg can sing. That's what we're going to talk about next. You know who Greg can sing just like? Maybe if any of you own the CD version of the album called Hell, you know how it starts and ends, don't you? I think it may be on the 10-inch vinyl too. But there's intros where you might think it's Michael McDonald from the Doobie Brothers. It's not. It's him.
Got a lot better since then, though.
Now, when we went on that long European tour, you know, for More Possum, everybody was getting on Joe's nerves like immediately. Well, our first show was in Aarhus, Denmark. Someone was ripping me ass when our first show in Denmark was. It was in '93. I don't remember the month. But Joe gets in the club and wants to lay down in the damn club and go to sleep. A club that plays music and has people in it. He wanted to get some shut eye. And he couldn't. He got mad and went downstairs to the bus. But then a few nights later, we're in Belgium after we played the Pits, and we're staying in this house that they gave us the whole upstairs to this house, and you know, we were all talking and everything, and Joe decided he had enough of that, so he went down in the van again. Well, Greg was drunk. We were all probably drunk, and there's this quiet little Belgium town. And Greg's opening up the window, leaning out, going, "She had a place in his life."
You can hear Joe.
Shut up! That's in the van. Just, shut up!
And man, that's the last thing you want to say to somebody that's got a sweet Belgian buzz on.
Because then, as soon as Joe said, "Shut up," then Greg's going, "He came from somewhere back in the long ago."
He was like, "This is gonna be a long goddamn tour." I mean,
which at that time he probably broke into, "Take this message to my brother."
Yeah, he got them all. He got them all. A lot.
Hey man, I'll go ahead and give him a Michael McDonald right quick.
Well, what was the one that I heard on the way here we were talking about?
The Christopher Cross song.
Yeah. I just discovered it today, and now I'm going blank on it.
I can't remember what it's called either. Man, just give him an old, "Take this message to my brother."
Or,
"She had
And you gotta
Listen
do
to that.
And you gotta do that face.
Yeah, you people thought you were watching Clayton Boys with Michael McDonald for a second there, but it wasn't.
All right, Michael.
It
Yeah,
was
get
great.
on out of here.
It wasn't sailing, man. You'd think it was sailing, but it was a deep cut,
I don't know.
and it wasn't Ride Like the Wind either, man.
I don't think I know. Or something like that. God,
I can't say. Man, we're talking about Christopher Cross now. God damn.
But it's a good one.
It was a good one. But yeah, Brandon says you got to cover one ear when you do it. You usually do that. You usually put.
I usually got
in.
headphones on.
Yeah.
And I'm in the studio. Professional.
How did you join, man? Like, what was the first time we had you play with us?
I think the first show was in. I want to say it was in Tennessee for some reason, but I remember the opening band had these weird drums that were shaped like horns, and I was like, gee whiz. I'm thinking that was Tennessee.
Man, one of the worst things about playing is when you play with an opening group that has a drum kit that's more complicated than your automobile. It usually takes them about an hour to set the damn thing up.
Yeah.
About an hour to take it down, too. I can't stand that shite. What else you got? Come on, man. Clayton Boys.
I got all
Wow.
kinds of stuff. Give me some more questions. Is there any more?
The questions are slow coming in because there's a little bit of a lag between what I'm seeing and what you guys are saying. It's about 30 seconds.
Oh, really? Is that far?
Like people are still posting Christopher Cross songs.
Oh.
Have y'all got any crazy, I mean, what you guys may not consider to be entertaining or hilarious are to us. So just tell us some more stories about when you guys would go on the road and, the wrestling that went on and the yelling and all the craziness. I mean, I've heard the stories from barbecue, so I know they exist.
Do you like Bunker Hill chili?
Everybody likes Bunker Hill chili, right?
Yeah, that's not. Now, see, the thing about it was when Greg and I would get drunk together, man, there was going to be some screaming and yelling going on. We would give wrestling speeches in hotels, 2 o'clock in the morning. We didn't care. And the worst thing, just like he told you with Joe telling him to stop singing, the worst thing you could do is tell us to shut up.
Oh yeah. Just like on the airplane over to Europe, me and Jeff stayed up all night long. The movie kept breaking. We were laughing. People were getting pissed off. It was a long
And see,
night.
back then they'd give you free booze, and the stewardesses kept giving it to us, hoping we'd eventually just pass out. Never happened.
They'll probably get kicked off for that kind of behavior.
But yeah, nowadays they'd land the plane and say, "You got to get out. You're making other people feel unsafe and uncomfortable."
No, I saw a question. Was I nervous about joining ANTiSEEN? No. I was actually very excited. I was more nervous about telling my mom that I was quitting college. Because, the whole Europe thing was getting planned. Jeff was like, man, we're getting ready to record a single with Sub Pop. I was like, fuck it. Who needs college? I'm going to go record a single on Sub Pop. Done. So, going through that with Mom was, that was pretty tough. But I think she finally got it after a while. I told her, I was like, I think that this is more important, and if I can always go back and do that later. But this is not gonna be, this ain't gonna be an opportunity to do later. So I got to do it now. So, and I told her I'd move home for a couple of weeks. So she was pretty happy.
Did you see that one?
Somebody wants to know what y'all's favorite toys were growing up.
We had
Lego action
yeah,
figures, man.
Yeah, We had a bunch of them.
Yeah. Spider-Man,
Conan.
Thor, Conan. Man, we dug some Conan as kids, man. Tarzan. We were into Men's Men, Flair, Tarzan, Conan, Abdullah the Butcher, Real Men.
Who had the sweetest collection of belt buckles back in the day?
We didn't really have.
Man, I had the black Kiss with the silver logo in it, and I had a blue Ted Nugent. That's the only belt buckles I had.
Yeah.
Did you have any? Didn't you have Destroyer?
I got a Kiss.
I was gonna say somebody had
I got
I
one.
also said Kiss with the silver logo.
I've got the Kiss one. I still have it.
What is it? Which one?
It just says Kiss.
Oh, I had that.
Kind of a blue.
Oh, okay. I didn't have the blue.
Blue.
Will wants to know if Greg had anything to do with the Black Light Wizard poster.
No.
Will. Any talent show high school? In high school.
Yeah, I went and seen Greg's band called Plenty of Time. Now take the first letter out of each of those words and tell me what it spells. They thought they were being clever.
I didn't even realize it. I didn't even know. I didn't even care. I didn't know. Yeah, that was with my buddy Sam.
Yeah, I talked to Sam.
And they were really good. And, you know, Jeff, I was nervous because Jeff was there to see me for once. And I was like, oh, man. And we only practiced like 2 or 3 times. But Jeff showed up. Man, it was full. He had the flash pots with him. He was getting ready to set them up. You remember that?
Yeah.
And the principal was there, and he was like, he was looking at me like, you know what, you're going to get I wish we'd have done it now. Because I would have just gotten expelled, and I didn't
Better to ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission.
And I didn't miss any school. I only missed a half a day of school in 12 years.
You could have taken a little suspension.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I wish we would have done it now.
But they played an instrumental version of Maggie May, and Sam was like, well, what'd you think of that original song? And I was like, it sounded like Maggie May by Rod Stewart. He goes, man, that's what it was. But
and then I went to a
what, baby?
Me, Mom, and Dad went to a talent show and saw Jeff's first band, Kamikaze, play. They played 2 songs. They played Stepping Stone?
Yeah, I told that story recently. We did Stepping Stone and Let's Dance.
Yeah, and I had it on cassette for the longest time. And
man, I wonder if that's still around.
Got to be somewhere. But man, I used to listen to that and just think, man, these guys are going to be huge. Because it was good. And Dad even liked it, and that was weird. He didn't like any of the shit we liked.
Well, he liked the Rolling Stones, but we hadn't really got into the Stones yet. We figured they were a band our dad liked. So we were listening to Kiss and Alice and all the stuff that was upsetting him. There's your wife.
Hey, baby. Yeah, he used to walk in the room and there'd be Kiss playing Rock Bottom. He'd go, Rock Bottom. That's about damn right. Rock damn bottom. That's some funny stuff.
The old man used to say whatever he was yelling at you about, he would say it over and over. I remember I was at home just for a weekend, and I brought a couple of videotapes with me to watch when they went to bed. And one of them was that Motorhead in Toronto, a live show. And at the end of it, it's got Filthy Taylor, just cutting up, being funny. And the old man walks in with that song. He goes, who the hell is that? I was like, Motorhead.
Motorhead?
And he just goes, Motorhead? He's like, that dude thinks he's tough. Motorhead. And then I show up to the house, you know, I don't know, this is going to be like a year later, and I got my ears pierced, you know, 3 or 4 times in both ears. And he goes, what the hell is that in your ear? I said, I got my ears pierced. And he goes, damn, you look like old Motorhead. Man, I saw some good questions. Do you want to go ahead and start with questions? I mean, because first I want to talk about some stuff again, right quick.
Right.
Man, have you ever seen anything good as this? Look at that.
I saw him in person a couple of times. This is the second best.
Maybe we can get Miss Clayton to hold it up in between us so everyone can see it. See that space right there? Look at that. That's a Harley race shirt. Do you realize that? I got one. I know you want one too. On the Mark shirts! Facebook, Instagram, Big Cartel, On the Mark. Tomorrow it goes live to all the marks. But all you people that are here on Break On Through, that are on the inside, as soon as you're done listening, you can go get it. You can get it now, or you can go listen on your phone and go to your computer and get it now. Harley Race, look at that, the king. Okay, baby, you can put it down now. All right.
Somebody wants
Yes.
to know who you guys' favorite
Yes,
horror character is.
I still play drums.
Favorite horror character?
Yep.
I like anything with werewolves and wolfmen. Well, there's not a bunch, man. My favorite werewolf was Oliver Reed in Curse of the Werewolf. But I also like Christopher Lee as Dracula. I love all those Hammer movies, man. All of them. Even when some of them got really bad, I still love them. What other kind of questions you got? You got something to read?
Somebody wanted to know if Jeff was the reason Greg got into screen printing business.
Am I the reason you got into screen printing?
And if he wasn't, what was?
No, I started screen printing in high school, you know, just for fun, not as a business or anything, but we just kind of had a couple of things at school to make screens and stuff with. Got into that, did it while I was in college for a little bit, and then after the music thing didn't pan out I was like, what am I going to do now? Screen print t-shirts. That's what I like to do. And I've been doing that for 21 years now. But longer than that, really.
He's the big cheese at Aardvark Screen Printing in Raleigh, North Carolina. So if y'all need some band shirts, or if you want to bootleg some shirts, as long as I get one, 2X, adult size,
Give us
he can print them for you. Aardvark Screen Printing.
That's right.
Oh, and by the way, whoever it was that asked the question about the pilgrim hat, Greg is the fortunate, blessed
That's what I was
beyond
gonna
words, possessor of the pilgrim hat.
I did not want that hat to get somewhere where we would never be able to get it back. So,
Which, by the way, I was going to ask you if I could wear that again.
I meant to
like
bring
that
it.
a lot.
But I've got that at my shop.
Miss Clayton's got her little Pilgrims landing on Plymouth Rock fantasy, you know, and I'm gonna help her live that.
I gotta get it back now.
Oh, no, that's what- Miss Myra wants to know, y'all like deviled eggs?
Yes. Jeff.
No.
She knows Jeff doesn't, but I do.
I don't think Jeff likes them because he thinks
Jeff
they smell
used
like a fart.
Mom would dye Easter eggs, of course, every year. Jeff would never eat one, and he used to just sit and laugh and watch me eat. He would make me eat them over and over. Hey, eat another one, please, eat another one, and I'd eat it.
I'd crack them for him. Say, here, man, eat this one, and he'd just. And then when I got bored watching him eat
Real.
Easter eggs, I'd take him and smash him on his head. Hey, you want me to tell one of the most vicious battles we ever had?
Oh, I know which
Yes.
one it is.
Do you?
It's the candy cane Nerf story.
Okay, yeah.
The only time I ever made my brother cry out of pain.
Yeah, out of pain. Man, we were having some kind of fight or something, and I took, what was it, the popsicle?
Well, that happened a lot.
You know, those big candy canes are about like a nightstick.
It's like a barber pole.
He was doing something, and man, I took I called it a nightstick. I took that candy cane and went whap right over his head, man. It broke, splintered, you know, and he's crying like hell. Ah! And so I'm just sitting in there watching TV. Oh man, he comes in there.
I had a Nerf. It was a Nerf.
It was a Nerf airplane. You know what Nerf? You know, like Nerf ball is a sponge.
Can't get hurt with those.
Can't get hurt with a damn Nerf sponge.
They had a weight in the front of them, in the nose, so when you threw it, it would just. But it was heavy.
And man, it was pure metal. And Greg turned that damn plane sideways and came in there and cracked me in the head, like up in my hairline. And man, I felt the skin split and the blood started pouring. You know, I thought I was dying.
Well, that funny thing is, I started crying too.
Yeah, he starts crying because all the blood is coming out of my head. Maybe that was the first time that we got the juice going.
Yeah, that was for real. But
Yeah, this guy Ryan says he's been hit with one of those. Are you talking about the Nerf plane or the candy cane? But yeah, I used to open up the refrigerator, and Greg said, "Give me a popsicle," and I'd get a popsicle, and I'd turn around from the fridge and throw it like a damn baseball, and sometimes they'd hit him like, and just go boom and explode. See, but we had this thing where I could beat him up, but nobody else could. You know, like, man, all he had to do in school was I just had to hear about somebody harassing him or giving him a hard time. And you remember that dude I put in the bear hug until he cried?
yeah, you had his arm behind his back or something. He didn't mess with me anymore.
No, that was the advantage of having a big brother at school. We were only in the same school for a couple years though, because by the time he got to where he went to junior high, I guess I was out.
Yeah.
Right? I was out of high school already. We didn't go to North Stanley at the same time.
That school couldn't handle both of us at the same time.
No, not both the Clayton boys. Well, I know there's some other good shit. See, I didn't think of nothing because I figured we'd just flow. I'm having a hard time thinking of any good shit to talk about.
Remember when your little brother thought it'd be cute to eat all the roses off your birthday cake?
Yeah, Mom made me a birthday cake one year, and she hid it in her bedroom, and Greg found it and took all the roses and ate all of them off, and then closed the lid back and pushed it back.
It was on top of her dresser.
Oh, is that what it was?
So I couldn't reach it. But I got a little step stool out, and I was looking, and I was like, damn, look at all those roses. I was pissed because I was jealous. I was like, he's getting because she was taking a class, and she learned how to do all these roses, and it was, you know, I've never seen that many roses on a cake, and I was like, he doesn't need that many roses on this cake. So I ate one off of one side, and then I was like, maybe I should balance it out a little bit. And I kept eating them until they were gone, and I got sick. She came in the bedroom. I was crying because I knew I was going to be in trouble. Of course, she starts feeling bad. Oh, what's wrong? What can I get for you? And I was just like, my stomach hurts. And then she finally discovered the cake with no roses on it whatsoever. Probably some finger gouges too.
Oh, I know a good one. Tell them about the time you rearranged the furniture in your bedroom, baby.
Oh.
And the result of that.
Greg used to see, after we'd eat dinner, that was my time to go in my room, listen to records. I usually have the black and white TV on, but with the volume down, I would just listen to records and have the TV going. And this was, I guess it was usually a time I would draw. or take a look at all my pictures of my nudie girls that I had hidden all over the place. But this is private time. I didn't want my little brother in there, you know, raising hell and stuff. And he knew that. So what would happen is, we'd be done with dinner, Mom would gather up the plates, and he would take off running to my room. And he wouldn't even turn on the light. My door was always kind of half shut, you know, and he'd knock it open and just run in and jump on my bed, and I'd have to come in and wrestle him off, you know, the bed, and throw him out, lock the door, and then he'd be crying and kicking the door. We had to go through this every night. Well, one day I was home, and I decided, well, I'm going to change my room around. And I moved the bed from, it was in the middle of the room, going in the middle of the floor. And I moved it to the far wall, going down the wall. So it was completely away from the middle of the room that he was accustomed to. Bunny ear antennas. Yeah, we had tin foil on our damn antenna trying to pick something up. Maybe even a clothes hanger stuck into the top of the antenna. But, so I moved that stuff around, and I knew he was going to pull his normal stuff, so I didn't say anything about having moved anything. And, so it was after dinner. Mom took the plates, and I went ahead and put on the whole thing. Don't go in my room! You know? Here he goes. Went down the hall, knocked that door open, took that leap for the bed. There was no bed there. I turned the light on, and he's laying on the floor.
Couldn't breathe. Knocked the wind out on me.
Oh boy. But one of my favorite Little Greg stories is the time Mom heard him cuss for the first time. And she says, I don't know what you say, shit?
No, this was, you talking about the mouth-washing
Yeah.
story? Oh.
What'd you say?
No, we got home from church. It was Sunday. We're getting ready to dial up some Little Rascals. Mom's in there cooking, and me and Jeff are sitting there, and he's like, hey, say goddamn it. And I was like, goddamn it. And he was like, loud. So I screamed, goddamn it. And he was, louder. Goddamn it. And Mom, I mean, I was just sitting there watching TV. I didn't know anything was, you know, I didn't know anything was wrong. It was just like, she jerked me out of the chair, took me to the bathroom, and stick out your tongue.
Was it some Irish Spring?
No, it was Ivory.
Okay.
And she putting Ivory soap all over my tongue. Try to do that shit today. And I'm crying. Well, she finally rinses it out, and I was pissed. And I was like, it tastes good. And so she did it again.
So I don't remember it quite like that. She goes, now that ought to teach you, you don't say that stuff in my house. And he just goes, still with tears running down his face, it tastes good!
Yeah.
And then that little ass got snatched up again. Pew! And I was the mastermind of the whole thing.
Yeah.
See, I was the quiet one. I didn't do nothing. I was just sitting here watching Space Giants or Little Rascals or Fred Kirby or something. What was I doing?
Got him in trouble, then laughed at him.
Well, that's what little brothers and big brothers do.
Have y'all ever seen those big, oversized plastic baseball bats that look like something the Flintstones would use? We had one of those, and me and Greg were going out in the yard one day just to have a friendly little game of, you know, pitch and hit, boom, boom.
Lasted about 2 seconds.
Man, he pitched that ball to me, and I hit that thing, boom, and it went, pow, right in his face. And man, at this point in my life, I'd never seen that much blood that fast. I thought I killed my brother. And man, I pick him up like this, and I'm carrying him in the house, and I'm just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Somebody said they wanted to hear more Jeff stories from you. You know any stories that I'm not telling?
Oh man.
Because I'm embarrassed and I'm afraid it'll ruin my street cred.
We talked a whole bunch about all kinds of stuff before we started going on to Facebook today. Can't think of anything right
Did
off.
she ever make this picture? Oh yeah. Me and my wife talk about that all the time. When you had to go get your own punishment device. Yeah, we had to do that plenty of time. And if it wasn't good enough, they'd go get it, and they'd damn sure be good enough then. And they'd leave those leaves on the end of it, so when they swung it, they'd go before it hit you.
And the funny thing is I think Jeff and I, probably Greg too, got switching so often. We have a bush in our front yard, and we have no idea what the type of bush it is, but we call it the switch bush. Because I told Jeff, I'm like, yep, my mom, when we would look for houses to buy, she'd go, oh yeah, we can get this one. It's got a switch bush in the front yard.
That was an important selling factor. Will there be a stick that I can beat the shit out of my kids with? What were you going to say?
About what?
They wanted to hear more Jeff stories. You got any Jeff stories I'm trying to hide?
No, I'm trying to. There's a bunch.
Well, maybe why don't you stand up?
Is there any more questions?
Stand up and ask us questions.
Is there any more questions that are?
Well, somebody wanted to know what the origins of the name ANTiSEEN came from.
You want to come stand up so they can hear you? Bring your paper.
Somebody wanted to know how the
Talk to
name
them, not me.
ANTiSEEN got started. They asked the questions, I'm asking you.
Okay, ANTiSEEN. The punk rock scene. SCENE. Men, support the scene.
We're a part of the scene.
Yeah, this is our scene. Man, early into that shit, I was just like, you know what? Just because you're part of a scene don't mean I gotta support you. How about if I like what you do? And in some cases, if I like you, but mainly it's just like, well, you're part of this scene, but I don't like what you do. I don't like listening to that. So.
And you didn't want to have to look a certain way either.
Yeah, we didn't like the idea of like, okay, we're playing this we're playing this punk rock music, and it's and by the time we got into it, the UK '82 stuff was real popular, especially over here. That's when you started seeing everybody with the studs and the 600 names of bands on their jackets, and you know, the mohawks and the Liberty spikes and all. And we're just like, man, we thought it looked silly. I mean, it's cool if you're the exploited. It's cool if you're discharged. But, you know, the dude walking down Central Avenue, he's not in discharge. I mean, I understand the fandom, okay? I understand it. It's just to us it looks silly. And we wanted to play that kind of music, but we didn't want to have that look. So we never went for it. We never had anybody in the band that had one, except when Mitch Cooper gave himself a phony mohawk and painted it sky blue. Our first show, but that was his first. He played one more show and then that was it. But you know what I mean? The scene. We didn't like the rules that the scene had made for you. You dress like this. You like this. Well, what do you mean you like Black Oak, Arkansas? The only black you can like is Black Flag. No, I like Black Sabbath and Black Oak and Blackfoot. So, yeah.
Black Diamond.
Yeah, Black Diamond. So, ANTiSEEN. We don't go by the rules of your scene. We don't support your scene. We just support what we got going on. We're into what we do, what we say. And if you want to come along, then that's, you know, we're more than happy to have you. You don't have to look a certain way. You don't have to be a certain color. You don't have to come from a certain background. All you got to do is dig it. That's all. Greg, do you also hate Boston? Do you hate Boston?
I like them when I get to joke you about them. So it's
Yeah.
fun to have them around when.
Now, do you guys remember when I did a go live of taking the plaque up to our cousin's house to commemorate the site where the first ANTiSEEN practice ever was? Well, it's our cousins. You know, all of our cousins are girls, and we go up there and we had a big feed with their husbands, their kids, everything. Me and my wife went, and so we go up there, and and we'll get out of the car, and all of a sudden I'm hearing. No, it wasn't that one you played. You played. What was it? I put on some music to start my day. I'm like, oh fuck. And Grace is watching me, And then it was obvious what was happening. One of my cousins says, "Greg said you wanted to hear this." And I was like, "No."
He didn't want to get out of the car just complaining like right off the bat.
Yeah, I wanted to give it about 10 or 15 minutes before I started complaining about stuff. Do you like the Misfits?
Not really.
The Clayton boys ain't into Misfit. We like horror stuff, but we don't like Misfit. Misfits that wore itself out.
I mean, there's a couple of probably some of those early songs that were pretty cool songs, but I never had the T-shirt.
David Moshing wants to know, what's the biggest fight you and Greg got into at a show?
The one I can remember was in Europe, and I mean that was a long tour, and I had blisters on my hands, and you probably don't even remember this, but the show was over. We walk off stage, and I was like, man, I am done. I mean, I was tired. We were ready to start drinking some beers. And Jeff was like, we're going back up. We're going to do 2 more songs. I was like, no, man, let's not do 2 more songs. We're going back up there to do 2 more songs. We're doing Haunted House. And I was like, oh, okay. All right, you want to do Haunted House?
Oh, now I remember.
Oh, okay. Let's go on up there and do some Haunted House. We went up there, and I clicked that thing off. Like, it was so fast. He turned around and looked at me like, man, damn.
I mean, I was going, I mean, I was like, God almighty. It was like, he got me on that one. But on that tour, at the end of the tour, Joe and Tom, Jimmy Repo had come over, and Jeff, they all went and got a hotel room. We were in England for like 3 days before our flight. Like the tour ended, and we had 3 days, left. And man, we didn't want to be around them. I didn't want to be around any of them guys. So me and Greg went and stayed at a squat. I know what that sounds like, but it was really a nice place. The only thing weird about it was there was an outhouse. You had to go use an outhouse. But the guys that ran some record company that I don't remember the name of the company or the guy, but they were so hospitable to us, and they just let us sit around there all day and watch their videotapes and stuff, and that we were real close to we could go eat stuff, and we didn't want to be around them other guys, so we were there for 3 days. And I think the last night we were in England, we all got together, because Reservoir Dogs started that night, and it ended that night. We went and saw it, and the next day they were like, Reservoir Dogs banned in England. But that part of the last little bit was fun. I mean, no, I guess that last day we got together and walked around. Where were we at? The Angel District?
Yeah.
Yeah. We walked around the Angel District. We kind of had cooled down by then.
Oh, I remember Jeff Young calling the place where we were, and he was like, "Hey man, can I come over?" and see y'all. And I was like, hold on. Hey, man, Jeff wants to come over. And he's like, yeah, I think he can come over, but not Joe. Can't have both of the young brothers in the same room.
Well, the young brothers could get in some fights.
Oh, man. Over an outlet or a plug.
Tell the story. I love it.
I mean, it was just, the story is just them screaming at each other as loud as they can. And it was...
Newport, England.
Yeah. Oh, man. That was probably the...
We went to a place where we didn't have, where even the adapter we had didn't work. But they had a plug that they could, Jeff said he could wire it up. But then, he would have to have, you know, solder, which we didn't have. And Jeff was going, well, do you want me to cut it? And Joe's going, yeah, cut it! And he pop, he cut it off. Cut the plug off the damn amp head. And Joe goes, well, all right, now put the other one on it because I ain't got none of the stuff to do it with. Oh, my God. They took it out into the street. We were playing with that group, that industrial band, Pitch Shifter. Them guys were just like, these sons of bitches are fucking nuts. And they were like going, fuck yeah, you son of a bitch, like on the street. And we're just all sitting in there like, just another day on the ANTiSEEN tour. You know, that was wild, man. There was always some young brother shout outs, you know, some shouting contests, and then they turn on one of us. But if we turned on one of them during it, then you have both young brothers on you.
Somebody wants to know about y'all's worst hangover.
Yours would have been when you ate them oysters, right?
Well, that was sick.
Oh, that wasn't a hangover. Man, I don't know. I've never really had bad hangovers. I don't drink anymore, but I've never had bad hangovers, man. I've been sick.
Probably when I was in my 20s or something. I mean,
yeah, man.
You know.
Greg, the fucker's freezing up. Is it keep freezing up, honey? Well, we got an internet going over here. We got a computer going over here, and she says it has not froze up at all. So
I'll call you tomorrow, Jimmy.
Jimmy Repo live.
I'll call you. I promise.
Justin wants to know, do either one of y'all have any memories of Lafayette, Louisiana?
Oh yeah, I just told that story last week or so. Yeah, that was one of the craziest nights. You know, first night of a tour ever. Yeah, basically the whole audience was fighting us in cotton noose. Is what it seemed like. I know it probably wasn't like that, but that's what it felt like.
I was up on stage. I was still playing, and I was the only one playing. And the sound guy came over the thing, and in my monitor, he's like, "Buddy, this show is over." Yeah, that was a wild one.
What other questions we got?
That's it, baby.
That's it?
Somebody, I kind of figured you'd want to do this in another go live because it's a pretty involved question, in my opinion. They wanted to know, were the Japanese people afraid of you, and how were you treated? And I'm sure you have a lot to say about the tour in Japan, so I figured you might want to wait on that.
Yeah, someone was asking how the Japanese people treated us. Man, I'll talk about that when I talk about Japan in general, as I go through the history.
And then somebody asked, did you ever attend any ECW shows?
Yeah, I used to go to ECW Arena a lot in their heyday. I saw some good shite up there. Who was on the lineup of hell? Well, when it originally came out as a 10-inch, and that was me, Tom O'Keefe, Joe, and Greg. And that was in that transition when Greg left and Barry came in. So when we put out the CD, the other half had Barry playing drums. So, and I'm in the part of the history next week where I'll tell you about, you know, Greg leaving and all that. I mean, I'll go ahead and tell you a nutshell version right now. Greg got an offer to play in a major label band called Luster. They're going to be touring with some of the biggest acts in independent music at that time. And, you know, he took the opportunity. And, you know, probably not one of my proudest moments. I took it personal. And I don't know, was that a heel turn or were we just distant for a little bit?
Probably about a month.
Yeah, a slight heel turn. It was me though.
But it all worked out. It all worked out because, you know, that's when Barry came in, and Barry's been the longest member besides you ever. You know,
yep.
Right?
Yep.
But yeah, we could talk about that a lot. But yeah, I've met G.G. Allen, played with him. Not played with him. We did the Shit Kickers record with him. So yeah, we hung out for a couple days.
Speaking of G.G. Allen, would you lean that way?
Oh yeah, there's a.
Look, I got this from Blood Orange Records the other day. It's pretty nice, huh? Blood Orange, thank you. Somebody else using my artwork and me not getting a dime for it. But this is my t-shirt man right here. That may change soon, son. We'll do a black one.
Yeah.
Yeah, black. But, hell, thank you for being here, brother.
Yeah, man, it's been a pleasure. I've been enjoying these. Better than TV.
No shit. But, here we go. I'm going to run through one more thing, man. My main, Alan King. Right here. Now it's frozen?
Unfreeze. It's freezing in here.
I mean, I suppose you can just keep going until it catches up, but...
Yeah, it's still going on here. But anyway, my main man, Alan King, is selling these right here to help out the family of Tomcat Hughes. $20. Picture disc. To Alan at this address. deadsovine @gmail.com. So, you guys came through big time when I saw those records, man. Show Alan we all stick together. We take care of our people. And you get a little something for it. So, you know, you can feel good about it, too.
Drop that wrestling shirt site again.
Wrestling shirt site. And after you've done something good for somebody else, do something good for you. And what can you do better for yourself than to buy yourself a genuine Harley Race t-shirt? On the Mark Shirts. Facebook, Instagram. Get on there. You don't get them from me, you get them from On the Mark. You don't get that Hell Stomper record from me either. You get that from Alan King. You hear me? Well, Miss Clayton, thank you for your assistance today. Come in here and let the guys get another look at you. There she is, isn't she pretty? Greg, thank you for coming down.
Yeah, man, it was a blast.
And don't you worry, guys. I'm gonna have Greg back. Maybe I'll do a break on through at Aardvark Screen Printing live one day. What do y'all think of that? That would be good. Maybe I'll have a design that I'll have Greg do as we do the break on through. Maybe I'll do a break on through. A break on through design.
I got a great idea.
ANTiSEEN, break on through. A nice picture of me. Unimpeachable. President for life. I see it already. It will be done. We will. Oh, 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 oh.